I think this knowledge is essential and necessary for life, and especially for youth or teens, because we still have a whole life ahead of us, and so the earlier we can get started, the better it is, right? And I also think that, Satsanga wasn't very religious based, like even though there was mention of, different religions and sayings from different religious preachers, but I think it was very much like self-development and spirituality based, so which was nice. And I think regardless of what your religious beliefs are, I think everyone can relate to it. I also really enjoyed the poems. I enjoyed preparing the explanation for the poems. I got to learn a lot through it. So that was great. I also enjoyed looking over your quizzes and seeing what you guys had to say. A lot of different perspectives on that. So
the beneficial part of this was that I understand a bit more of how the world works, I would say, because I would realize that intellect would always have a part in how life is, because I would always, I want to have a donut, or I want to have this, but like all these things are conflicting, so it's very beneficial, and I would say it would be beneficial for anyone else.
Satsanga benefited me by helping me understand perspectives of different ways, and it can help other young people with self-development and developing their mind and intellect.
I think Satsanga was very beneficial because all of the 8 sessions and topics were very unique that would help you in different parts of your life, and it is very beneficial for any youth or teen, so you can get the understanding and knowledge earlier in your life, so you can apply it when in future you have more time to apply it.
And overall, I just thought everything was beneficial because these are things that I never knew before and things that I didn't know that I actually needed to know.
I really liked that this course wasn't really religious. I feel like anyone, like regardless of their religion or like what they identify with, could really benefit from this course. And it focused more on like spirituality separate from that kind of situation. So like, it definitely like lies in this self-development and spirituality rather than religion.
Recently, I've had to deal with some new decisions, so I learned how to make decisions based on my intellect. So I've learned how to think more carefully and not just rush in.
I would say Satsanga benefited my understanding of life because it equips you with as I told before, it equips you with the essential understanding of life that every individual has to follow. And it will be beneficial for any youth or teen because apart from schools, in my opinion, Satsanga helps in formulating a very strong base for a good character.
One of the 8 sessions that was more relevant to me was session 2, which talked about mind and its temperaments. I learned about the signs of the restless mind and what is the sign of unsteady mind.
I think my favorite session was session number 3, which was self-analysis and personality assessment, because that was just learning about myself and different factors that are in mind and intellect, and I liked knowing where I was on that spectrum.
You did miss me, it's okay. So from the 8 sessions, I think the most relevant one, it was the anxiety and stress session, because that one really helped me, because then I would understand what causes stress, what things you can do to release your stress, because getting older and stuff, finding a job, going to university and everything. I feel like that's going to put a lot of stress on people in general.
Of the 8 sessions that we did, I think the most relevant was the one on selfishness and ego complexes, because it teaches one to be a better person, and it shows the problems of being egoistic and selfish.
I would say the most relevant was the session on self-analysis and personality assessment, as I was not sure what I am, what would suit me, what I am going to do in the future, as I'm in 12th and I still had no idea. And also on where I can improve as a person and what I should do better. That session really helped me understand everything and gave me more clarity in my decision.
To talk about the sessions, all the 8 sessions were very distinct and relatable to our lives. The session that I could relate to the most was, like many others, is anxiety, stress, ego, and complexes. I'm a person who gets stressed very easily, and it gave me a lot of solutions to that problem. A key learning that I learned from the session is that I've gotten to understand myself way better. I've also learned the importance of mind and the intellect, and how an intellect will help us grow as a person.
Well, out of the 8 sessions, I think the session on true education springs from within was most relevant to me, because I got to learn the features of an intellect and how to develop it in order to govern our mind.
In my opinion, all the 8 Satsanga lectures were quite relevant to me because I learned many important things of life which I needed to learn and which I had questions for, like the difference between love and like the difference between aggressive and passive human nature, how ego affects us and our life, the chronology of actions, Swadharma, Paradharma, and many more things.
I think the relevance of choice of poems was pretty good. It gave us a really good example of the lesson, what was being taught. And if I had to describe Vedanta, I think it's very essential and necessary knowledge to live life, because I think it's something everyone should know. It would definitely make a world a better place if everyone did it.
The choice of poems in literature is really relevant in the study of Vedanta, because it explains how each and every concept is related to the study of Vedanta.
I feel like the poems were really good because aside from just being like enjoyable, they actually helped me like remember. Sometimes it's easier to remember the poem rather than the actual like lesson, and then from there you can remember what the concept of the session was.
I think Vedanta has taught me some knowledge I never knew before, and I would like to recommend it to everyone who would like to learn Vedanta.
Like the words that I would use to describe Vedanta, it's essential and it's necessary, because like I think it was Nidhi that said it, that if everybody like learned Vedanta, then it would make them a better person, and if everybody was a better person, it would make the world a better person. Or sorry, it would make the world better, like just as a place. It would make it safer, and like it would just make the world better in general.
As you know, many people, especially teenagers, are victims of suicide, and the cause of this is stress. Actually, a friend of mine also passed away because of due to suicide a year ago, and if others also, if he had learnt about this, he may have not done such a stupid thing, and this could prevent others from making such rash decisions.
Key learning from my session was the concept of intellect. So the subtle nuances of intellect, and being able to categorize it into different categories, and being able to understand where you fit in was something that was really helpful in this class. And knowing what to do once you fit in, what's your way forward, I think that would have definitely helped me along with many other children across the world.
And then the key learning overall within the 8 sessions, including today, would just be the intellect, of course, and use the thinking video as a device that needs to be continuously improved and strengthened.
I was very apprehensive about getting into the program at first, and I was in it at first because my mum encouraged me to, other than my aunt, and I was pleasantly surprised when the sessions were actually not about religion. So my key learning that was relevant to life in Satsanga was actually about how you need to was a way to differentiate between emotion and reason and intellect before you take any decision, rather than taking rash decisions, which I used to do a lot. I have the tendency to take quick decisions, and I've learned how to avoid that.
One of the things I learned was to never set like unreasonable expectations for yourself because it leads to disappointment, and instead you should set realistic goals and find ways to get to it.
Any youth or teen should at least look at Vedanta and try Satsanga. Instead of just outright rejecting it, try it out, and even if it doesn't work out for you, you will have learned something.
It defines a very fundamental base that's logical to apply towards any decision-making situation. And it's this realization that perspectives can be changed to approach from the angle of developing and employing the intellect as opposed to degrading it and employing the mind. And this sort of rationale thinking taps into the understanding of cognition and how it can be manipulated in your favor instead of succumbing to how it reacts in certain situations. And the sooner one can transform their vector of thinking to this, the more confidence one will have in pursuing passion and receiving fulfillment as a result.
When I always saw her, there was this fear. I mean, there's so much jargon there, like I can't understand it. It's too heavy for me. But when I came into this, and really thanks to Rangaji, who explained with such beautiful and simple examples, something which we can easily relate to as a teen or as a youth. So that has helped a lot. So thank you so much for that.
People usually blame stuff on like school makes me stressed, or I don't like when my friend does this. And if you have a rigid point of view, it kind of gets you thinking that, you know, I can't control school and I can't control my friends, but what can I control in myself? And what is it that triggers these things? So it's kind of just like everyone should just learn it, even if they don't want to strictly like follow it. You still gain like perspective and you can look at things in a better light instead of always pointing the finger.
I think Satsanga could cater to anybody who has different beliefs or religions. I'd put it under self-development, and I'd also kind of put it under like understanding the world around you and just understanding people around you, and just like understanding yourself, like your mind, intellect, and body, and the different roles they play into just like regular life.
Out of the 8 sessions, all of them are relevant in a way or another, and I have to admit it was worth attending this program, since there were so many new aspects to the world around us and myself. I feel that almost all of the important points were known, but I didn't think of them as much, and this program was very helpful to get those thoughts running. Thank you.
So I actually liked the references to the culture that Vedanta originates from, but I also, more than that, I appreciate that there were quotes and references from a host of different religions, of different literatures, which kind of shows like how widely accepted and appreciated this knowledge is, and it makes it even more valuable to us to learn, because it seems that it's something that others in the past have been attuned to, but we somehow fell off the wall somehow. So it's good to go back to that. And definitely I think it's essential to learning to life, and I would recommend it for everyone from as early as possible, so that once you get that exposure, you're able to develop yourself, and instead of being in the spot where you have to cure a problem that you have, be it stress, anxiety, ego, whatever, like you're in the position to proactively prevent it. So